Hello and welcome to this Therapeutic Thursday. And today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about triggers or our reactions. You know, that space that's in between and how we handle that and what that means to us. Now, I've been thinking about this, talking to you guys about this topic for, about a week or so. This is something that commonly comes up in therapy sessions about what we do in that space, before we react, when we feel our body starting to react to that trigger, to, whatever that is, whether it's anger coming up, sadness. And interesting enough, I got an email from Amy, who at Golden Light Healing Center, who trained me as a shamanic practitioner. And she had Viktor Frankl, a quote in her email that says, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our responses. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom." Well, Viktor Frankl, he created Logotherapy. So, I've learned about this in school. So Viktor Frankl, he was in concentration camps, and he was able to really go within himself to find meaning. So logotherapy basically means to find meaning in life. All right, so you're connecting to that spiritual side. You're finding a meaning and a reason and a way to move forward, right? And so this quote, though, really hit home, too, about it's that space in between. And it is. When we decide how we are going to react to those triggers, to those things that cause our body to kind of go offline or get into that fight, flight, freeze type of response, it's that space where we can grow, where we can really learn how to be a better people, right? Or how to be more comfortable with ourselves, how to be more confident, how not to have shame, we can slow down these responses. And it takes time. I'm not saying that we can, not react and sit in this space every single time, right? It's about trying each time. And when we succeed, that's amazing. And when we have a setback, that's okay, because that's a learning experience as well. So when I'm working with my clients and we're talking about, this space, this time in between, I suggest doing things to slow, to extend that space. Because what happens, when, say, we have an anger issue, someone says something to us and it just triggers us, flames us, and we want to respond and attack with our words is normally what we do. Sometimes even with our facial expressions, right? Finding the ability to stop and expand that tiny space to a little longer before reacting, before saying something, before doing something, before, any of that. Just taking and expanding that small space that is in between our trigger and our reaction. So how do we do that? Well, there's all kinds of ways. You can do some breathing. You can take stones now, like palm stones. Here's, just a palm stone. You could have this in your pocket and you get triggered and you just take that moment, to take the deep breath in and maybe just use your palm stone, fidget with it, put that energy into it. Stones can really help us. Objects can. With children, I will suggest I'll talk to them and their parents and say, okay, as a family, let's work on when you need a minute to actually say it. Take that breath quickly and then just say, can you give me a minute? And just be honest, right? Can you just give me a minute before I say anything? And that helps too. So when you're acknowledging that you're in that uncomfortable place where you want to react, you want to snap back, just that acknowledgement slows that down, expands that space. And you can even tell it to yourself, like, okay, got to take a deep breath, Mary, and just think a little bit and calm down before responding, all right? Some people use this as a tool where they'll walk away. And sometimes that works, right? It is better to walk away in some points than to say things you're going to regret later. However, it is important to come back and talk with those, because walking away can trigger the other person, right? So some other methods, of course, the breathing. You can do deep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. You can even do box breathing or shallow breathing, just in through the nose, out through the nose to calm yourself down, to activate that parasympathetic system. So what that does is it regulates and calms down that sympathetic, that fight flight, right? So you're trying to get your blood pressure back down because, internally inside when we get those triggers, our blood pressure goes up, our heart rate goes up, we get tense, and that in-between spot, you're just wanting to try to let that tension go, try to calm yourself down. So what methods that takes? Just giving yourself a minute, taking breaths, utilizing something. You can utilize, rocks. You can utilize even just actual visual. You can just stop, take that breath, look out at something that's away from the situation or away from the person. So say I'm looking outside at the tree and I am just picking a branch and I am trying to rid everything out of my mind. And again, this is a very quick thing. You don't always have the ability to be like, okay, whoa, wait a minute, can you give me a minute to calm myself down? Sometimes you have to have like that quick couple seconds internally so that, say, you can respond to your boss quickly before they get upset that you're not responding, or something along those lines. And it takes practice to do this. But again, just taking that, expanding that space in between, because that space in between, that trigger and response, is really what can help you to feel stable and balanced and to regulate yourself. So I hope that helps. Again, there's so many things you can do to expand that space. Let me know if you have any additional ones. Comment on those and let me know if you've tried them and how it works for you. And again, this takes time and practice, and setbacks are expected, and that is okay. That is how we learn, right? So we just keep trying each time, right? And each time we get a little better. So thank you again so much. I look forward to talking to you all next week. See ya. Ooh, and just a quick one I forgot for the main video. So if you haven't read Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, I would suggest you do so. It is a wonderful book, and it really explains, what Viktor went through, how he was able to, find that meaning, and how he created logotherapy. So thank you.